Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is Crystal, and on today's video, I will be participating in the Christmas Charity Challenge. This challenge is all about just putting some money back into the community and buying from a charity or a thrift shop or something like that. The goal is to spend $20 and create some unique Christmas decor items or gifts. This challenge is hosted by Margie over at Asking Spot. I will link down below in the description the playlist as well as Margie's channel. I found this cute little like tea kettle thing. It's actually um, a tea light holder. I thought it was really cute, and there was a couple of issues, like this little handle on the top was bent down, so I had to fix that, and I'm just using a screwdriver to kind of pry it up to give it get it back into the correct shape it needs to be. After I fixed the handle, I cleaned it really well, and then I'm using a Dixie Belle paint in the color Holy Guacamole, and I am using a inexpensive cheap chip brush to apply the paint. I'm just doing only 2 coats on this, and I want to leave some of that old metal look, so I'm not doing a really thick heavy coat. But I do want my coat thick enough so that way I can cover up that little lighthouse scene on the front. When the paint was all dry, I took this outside and sealed it with some spray lacquer just to give it some added protection. I purchased all of my items at Salvation Army. Every week they have different color tags that are 50% off. So this week the tan tags were 50% off. So I only paid $1.50 for this item. Last year at Walmart during their clearance event after Christmas, I purchased this really super cute black and white ribbon, and I just really liked the way it looked with the screen. So I'm adding a bow onto the top, and I'm using this cute little holly berry little sprig that I'm going to add into the bow as well. And this is just something I found in my craft stash. And then I am going to take some tape and put a little tiny bit on the end so that way this doesn't fray or split apart over time. And that was it for this one. What do you guys think about it? I think it turned out really cute. I really just love this green with that red and the black and white. I feel like it just works really well together. And I'm going to be staying really cohesive with all of my projects today. So for my next piece, I got this little frame and it was on sale for $1 because it was also a half off item. I'm going to take everything apart, take out the glass, and clean it really well, and then I'm going to use some sandpaper and just give the whole thing a nice little scuff sand just to help my paint adhere to the frame. I'm cleaning all that sanding dust off again, and then I am going to start painting it with the same color, the Dixie Belle paint in the color Holy Guacamole, and again, just using my chip brush. I'm only doing like a coat, maybe a coat and a half on that. I do want to kind of see some of that wood grain and some of that wood through the paint. I had this really beautiful vintage looking paper in my stash, and it's actually the lyrics to the song Hark the Herald, the Angels Sing. So it's perfect. It's got this really pretty red print on it and these little angels. So I'm just using a little Elmer's glue stick and I'm applying it onto the cardboard that came with the frame, and then I'm going to press my paper on. I kind of had an idea of where I wanted everything to be as far as my layout goes on the front, so I just kind of eyeballed it as far as that goes, and then I pressed everything down and just flattened it out and smoothed it all out really good. I took my really super sharp sewing scissors and I trimmed off all of the edges. I used some of the Waverly brand brown antiquing wax in a damp washcloth, and I just wiped on some of the wax just to kind of give it a little bit more of an aged look. Before I put everything back together, I made sure I cleaned my glass really well. There's nothing worse than getting everything put back together and finding a piece of dirt or smudge or fingerprint or something on the inside of your glass, and then you have to take it all apart again. So it's really important to make sure you do that before you put it back together. And then this one was all done, you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. Super simple, super easy, and just really stinking cute. For my third project, I am using a little like wooden sign shelf sitter thing, and I am sanding it all down and just giving it some tooth so that my paint can adhere to it. And then I'm cleaning off all that sanding dust really well also. For this one, I'm just using a Waverly brand chalk paint. I think the color is called Plaster. And I'm just giving it a couple of coats of this with a chip brush as well. I believe I only paid $1 for this piece also. This was also one of the half off items. So I got a really good deal on this. I'm going to be painting a really super simple, easy Christmas tree on this one. To keep with the cohesiveness of all of my pieces, I'm using that same color Holy Guacamole by Dixie Belle, and I'm just making like little swoosh marks and giving them a curve towards the end, just to mimic tree branches on a pine tree. When I get my base color down, I'm mixing that Holy Guacamole with some of the white plaster color, and then I'm just giving it some highlights and creating some depth with that darker green that I've already applied. Next, I mixed up some other green colors and added a little bit more depth. Same thing, my little swishy brush strokes throughout the Christmas tree. I really love impressionistic painting. I just feel like it's very simple to make something look very detailed, and it's not hard or difficult at all. And then when that paint was dry, I just took some sandpaper, then I lightly sanded the edges and over top of my painted Christmas tree just to kind of distress it a little bit and make it look a little bit aged. And then that was pretty much it for this one. Also a very simple and easy project. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I really love this one. I think it turns out great. And for my final project, I picked up this item. I'm not really sure what this is, if it's a garbage can or I don't know. I just thought it was really cute. It's like this metal bucket and it has like a water spigot sticking out of it. I paid $4 for this one. This was also a half off item. I cleaned it really well. It was pretty dirty. And then I'm sticking with that cohesiveness of all of my four pieces. And I'm using that paint color called Holy Guacamole. And I'm just kind of dry brushing this paint on there. I want some of that metal to show through. I want to see that. I want it to look like more of an aged patina on this piece. After I got the whole thing painted, while my paint was still wet, I took a damp washcloth and I wiped back that paint. And this kind of just gave it a little bit of a washed look and made it look a little bit more translucent and still looked aged. And then there were a couple more areas I added a little bit more paint and then just wiped it back again. And then I dry brushed around the edges and the water spigot. I'm planning on doing a floral arrangement on this piece. So I've been saving these egg cartons. So I'm gluing them down into the bottom and through the middle of this garbage can just to give it some height. And so it can just fill it a little bit and not have all that empty space in between. I have to figure out what to put in there. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Then I took this green piece of foam that I found in my stash and I glued it to the egg cartons. This will be perfect for the really lovely poinsettias I purchased. I have this little nest I will be adding to the floral arrangement, so I want to make a little egg, and I'm just using some air dry clay and I'm rolling it up into an egg shape. These poinsettia are the only thing I paid full price for at the Salvation Army. I got both of them for $3, but aren't they beautiful? I love them so much. So I just kind of had an idea of how I wanted to arrange them, and then I stuck them into that green foam. And then here is that nest I was talking about. I actually glued a chopstick to the bottom of it, and that is how I secured that into my foam. At the Salvation Army, I found these really cute little snowbirds, and I thought they would look great in this arrangement. And they had like wired feet, so it's pretty easy to stick them down into that foam to secure them. I found in my stash these really beautiful white branches. So I just stuck those all over the place in the foam, and if I needed them to be shorter, I just broke them in two pieces and stuck them in all over the place. These little birds were only $1.50 each at the Salvation Army. I just thought they were adorable. And I had a lot of like open spaces around the bottom where the floral arrangement met and the top of the actual metal bucket. So for that, I am using some of this polyfill that I purchased actually last year, and I am just kind of shoving it in all over the place just to kind of fill it, and it reminds me of snow. It looks like snow to me, so I thought it worked really good for this arrangement. Next, I added some of this Spanish moss to help fill in a lot of the gaps as well. I found this really pretty vintage ribbon in my stash, so I tied a bow around the metal bucket with it. While my air dry clay egg was still a little bit wet, I painted it with the plaster color chalk paint from the Waverly brand, and I took my paintbrush and dipped it in a little bit of that green paint and kind of tapped it on there to make it look speckled. And then I took some of this really pretty, like iridescent glitter, and I pressed it into the egg. So it just gave it a little bling bling, I guess, little blingy egg. Then I stuck the egg in the nest and added a few cute little pine cones that I found while hiking. I think it looks really cute, you guys. Tell me what you think down in the comments. And out of all four of my projects, which one do you like the best? I actually ended up spending way less than $20. I think my total ended up being maybe 17, and there was even some things that I didn't even end up using for this challenge. Make sure you guys check out the playlist. I will have it linked below as well as on the end screen, and you are bound to find some inspiration from the amazing participants that will be joining. And thanks again to Asking Spot for hosting this challenge. And thank you all for watching. Again, let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. And I appreciate you all so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you subscribe. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Bye.